Boom. There we go. CTC Radio, you tuned in. Lord Sanctus, Young Deem in the building.
Sure.
Had to keep it local.
Yes, sir.
So we had Swiss and Santa Maria. I never actually ate here before, but best believe a nigga's about to, though. So Young Deem, what's good, man? How you been?
Just chilling, man.
That's what it is.
Chilling.
That's what it is. So we're gonna get into as much as you're willing to get into.
Yeah,
but let's take it from the beginning, man. So where does it all start off for you musically? Like, who are you inspired by? And maybe who was that person that said, hey, let's get in the game and you have what it takes to do this. Where did that all come from?
Man, for me, I had my older siblings, definitely.
Okay.
They were kind of doing the music thing, not really so much on, trying to really get out there, but, they were definitely just musically talented, what I'm saying, gifted, and I just feel like if they got it, I might have it, so that was something that kind of got me going with the music initially, but, yeah, man, I really enjoy writing as well, and once I started writing, man, just kind of went from there, bro.
Okay. Are you originally from the coast?
Originally, I'm actually from Pittsburgh, PA, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you come out here?
I came out here. Originally, I first came out here, I want to say early 2000s, around like when I was like 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up. And then so, how did you find the resources out here to even get into hip hop? Because I know at that time, like, I'm older than you, so coming up like in the 90s around here, it was no culture, period. And I think it got a little better around 2010, but it was still probably like difficult, you know what I'm saying? So how did you overcome those challenges? How did you find studio time? How did you find like-minded people to want to listen to what you're doing? I'm not even gonna go beyond that. How did you do those two things?
Yeah, man, that was definitely difficult, bro, and I felt more challenged because of that. But I knew like where there was a will, there was a way. And initially, like when I was writing music, it was just to be in a circle around some dudes rapping, and I started battling dudes, and then people started to like really show interest in what I had to say. And then just over the years, I just tried to basically do whatever I could to figure out a way to make this happen. And just YouTube hit, and MySpace, you could upload music on there, and then, SoundCloud. And
so how old were you when that happened? Like, because, I know there's a big gap between MySpace and SoundCloud and YouTube, but when YouTube and MySpace, those were like the two like great equalizers that changed everything. How old were you when that happened?
When I started doing that, I would say I was around 15, maybe 14, 15. Yeah, 14, 15 years old.
Okay, so you're like right around, you're starting to come into your like full maturity, but like the reason I asked how old you were because I want to know, prior to YouTube, prior to MySpace, did you look at recording, making, and putting out music in a different way? And did like YouTube and MySpace change that, or was it all like on the same path, and then YouTube and MySpace were just tools?
Yeah, guys, are we ready?
Yeah, I'll definitely take the oak, grilled artichoke, and this linguiça sausage, please.
And the linguiça, okay. Are we separate checks or one check?
We can do one check.
One check, okay.
And then I'm gonna go with the pastrami sandwich, please.
Okay. And your side? French fries, onion rings, salad, soup.
I'm gonna get French fries.
Okay.
And then I'll just take the bacon cheeseburger.
How'd you like that paired?
Medium is fine.
On your side? French fries?
French fries.
Okay. Get that put in for you guys.
Yeah, man. So when I first started recording, I would burn it to CDs and actually pass it out.
Okay.
Because I was like, the only way I could do it, bro. And I was like, I gotta find a way to get the music to the people, because like you said before, MySpace and before YouTube, there was really, you know, no way of doing it. But once I started handing out CDs, I realized how effective it was, and I kept that same.
So were you still handing out CDs during the MySpace time, during the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you were using your CDs to drive traffic back to your MySpace, back to your YouTube?
Yeah, man.
Okay, so you had it figured out at an early age. So when would you say it started picking up? And this was definitely while I was gone. So when would you say it would start picking up for you when you're like, okay, wow, this is working. This is I should keep going in this direction. What was that moment for you?
Man, I had a show. I had a show one time, and it was actually, man, it wasn't even my show, bro. I had some dude named Black Knight who I used to do music with. Rest in peace, Black Knight. He hit me up one day. I was chilling at my boy's crib, and he was like, you know, I got this show with Paul Won Chamillionaire. You know what I'm saying? We made a couple tracks. Like, you should come out and rock. It was in Ventura. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, like that's crazy. I was just thinking about, like, yo, I never performed. I never even thought about getting on stage.
That
you know
was
what
your
I'm saying?
first show?
That was my first show. I never even thought about getting on stage, man. And at the time, you know, I had a vehicle, and he was like, you know, if you drive us down there, you know what I'm saying, we could rock these songs and do the show, you know what I'm saying? Come to find out, like, when we get down there, he wasn't even on the bill, you know what I'm saying? So it was just, he knew somebody who had, like, dropped off. So, like, we just, like, man, and somehow, like, they called the people that were up next, and those people didn't come up, and he was like, yo, like, let's just go out there. And then we just went out there.
How did y'all get, like, on stage, though? How did that work?
Like, we knew another couple of cats that were performing, Mike Bless and Hustle.
Okay.
Yeah, they were actually on that bill.
Gotcha.
So, like, we knew them and we were backstage. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And whenever they called up next and those guys didn't go, Black Knight was like, let's just walk out there. And we just walked out there. We gave the DJ our CD, and we started performing.
That's a way. So that feeling of being on stage the first time, maybe that was like, okay, I gotta keep pursuing this.
Yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
got you. So then, from that point on, what came next? Was it a project? Was it a video? Was it the movement? Like, what came next after that?
It was. I was definitely doing a lot more recording after that first show. And I had what I was working on an album or a mixtape at the time. But in between that time, most significantly, is when I came out with the song Shake It.
Okay.
It was just like, it was weird, man, because I was in the studio with the twins, Didi and KK.
Okay.
Shout out to the twins.
Hell yeah, what up?
I was ready to leave the studio. It was just like, I couldn't come up with nothing. It was just one of those days, like, it was like almost a dry run, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I didn't really have nothing prepared that day. I just kind of wanted to go and vibe out, and nothing was clicking. And on the way out, I remember he put that beat on, and I just started freestyling to it, and we laid it down, and I released it, and it was like everybody just went crazy over it.
That's dope.
And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't believe that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Did you go to Santa Maria High?
I went to Rigetti.
Rigetti High. So at this time, it's moving around high schools. Is it growing outside of Orchid, Santa Maria? Are you seeing it other places in Bubbling and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. It was drawing attention from Slow, Santa Barbara. You know, of course, always my family on the East Coast would be listening. And then just gradually, it would just pick a fan here and there, you know what I mean? It was like, it was slowly felt like something was maybe starting to form.
Okay.
Yeah.
So fast forward a few, and I might need you to explain. I don't want to get anything wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have all the dots connected. So it seems like during maybe a little bit after that time is when I think there was like a boom of Central Coast artists starting to kind of find their way. Mm-hmm. So were you at all affiliated with What a Life and that stuff, or were you separate and that was just a thing that was going on and it was one of the groups that was moving at the same time as you? And so, because sometimes people will tell me that you were affiliated with them, sometimes I hear you were not affiliated with them, and I don't really know what the truth was. So break that down for me, please.
Prior to that, you know, I just felt like a lot of things as far as the music on the Central Coast were just transpiring for me, you know.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of major shows. You know, I was putting out a lot of visuals. And just back then, a couple of years ago, I was just working with some individuals, and I had spoke with them like, you know, we should try to get more people involved in what we're doing as far as the artist wise, you know, like let's kind of get us all together and
Like a collective.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Not necessarily like let's be a group, but let's bring some energy and noise for the 805. You know, let's all support the same energy kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So I was all like, this is my idea. I was all like, I'm gonna host a cipher at the barbershop, and I'm gonna pick artists who I felt like, you know, really gave it their all at the first cipher, and invite them back for a second cipher. After the second cipher, I'm gonna get those guys and see if they wanna make this push together.
Guys.
And then that's when CCVO came into play.
Okay.
And I never intended.
What does that stand for?
Central Coast Very Young.
Okay, no.
And that was never intended to be a group name.
Okay.
That was like an introduction to who I was.
Gotcha.
Basically, not saying I am the coast, but I was just here as a representative for the coast. You know what I mean? Like, so Central Coast is Very Young was an individual introduction for everybody who was making this push, you know what I'm saying? So it could have been Central Coast's Very Own Marquis, or Central Coast's Very Own Milan, or Central Coast's Very Own Young Deem. It wasn't just a sole title for myself or a group, you know what I mean? It was just
were people taking it that way, or?
I feel like people were, because every time you know, we would go to make this push, we just looked so in sync with each other, you know, and we had the same jerseys, you know, we all had matching jerseys. We switched it up to some black ones after a while. Like, it was just, everything just looked so presentable, you know what I mean? And that's all I was really going for. Like, I'm not trying to make a group and go against the upper part of the 805, you know what I mean? It was nothing like that. Or go against the East Coast, nothing like that. I just want people to be like, hey, we're all here together. Let's all make this music, you know what I'm saying?
So at that time, how long after that did Central Coast Hip Hop come into play? Because I remember I was telling you off camera, basically, just to catch everybody else up. And we are live on CTC Radio. Make sure you download the Station Head app, follow Connect the Coast, so you can listen to Station Head. You can listen live and not 3 weeks later on YouTube. You feel what I'm saying? So, but anyways, back to it. I was telling Deem off camera that Connect the Coast kind of started, at least before it got branded. It was really me trying to figure out what was going on in the coast and like how everything came to be on the coast. So this is an education lesson for me as well. So back to it, where did Central Coast Hip Hop come in at that point? Like, how far apart were those moments? And what was your feeling about Central Coast Hip Hop? Like, how did you feel about it?
I feel like me as an artist, trying to brand myself, I brought some bad energy towards what I was trying to do. So I felt like a lot of the response that I wanted from people wasn't being given just because people had like maybe a bad taste about me, you know what I'm saying?
What was the energy though? What do you think?
I just feel like a lot of it was like biased, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was like, yeah, we see what Deem's doing, but we're not gonna fuck with it because we don't wanna have to fuck with Deem, you know what I'm saying? And I felt like that away over a lot of the years, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I try to tell everybody nowadays that I talk to, like, now that I'm actually back on the music scene, I'm like, man, all this beef, all this stuff I see on social media, I'm not even getting involved. Like, you know what I'm saying? Unless it's really about me, and even then, like, I still gonna really have to take a lot for me to want to even, you know, take my time and energy on it, you know what I'm saying?
Because you got real shit you dealing with.
You know what I'm saying? I got real, you know what I mean? Really shit popping, you know what I'm saying? And that's why, back to the whole with a life thing, I had to kind of separate myself from that core of people because it was eating at me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And for the position I played within that situation, I feel like it didn't turn out how I was really hoping.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And I don't need specifics, but so did What a Life develop at the same time, or did What a Life spin off from CCBO?
Well, back in 2014, 2015, I was like basically in a limo and doing bottle service every chance. It was just like, it was my early 20s. Life was fun. I started making the most money I had. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I just started coming with the phrase "What a Life."
Okay.
And that brand was basically stole from me. And I never really pursued trying to make an issue about it, just because it was like, if you want it that bad, bro, you can have it. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But I have everything from a song to captions on Instagram, like, that nobody can tell me that they have references farther back past the date.
You coined that term, What a Life. That's okay. And that's why I knew there was an affiliation. I just did not know what the affiliation was. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like right when I started paying attention to what was going on the coast again, I think I tapped in right when maybe you guys started having a little bit of static. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's when I was like, okay, let's go. I was trying to figure it out, and Central Coast Hip Hop seemed to be the ones talking about it the most, but I couldn't put the pieces together, and I knew that there was also a dislike of Central Coast Hip Hop, but I didn't know which side it was coming from. So at this point, you guys, you split off, you start doing your thing, they start doing their thing. I see you doing a lot more shows. Like, what gives you the instinct to say, hey, I'm gonna be out in front of the people a lot? I'm not necessarily gonna worry about the. To me, it seemed like they were more worried about the branding. You know, I see a lot of posts with the WAL, a lot of social movement, but I see you out there shaking the hands of the people, getting in front of the people. What gave you the wherewithal to say, hey, that's the move that I'm
Can we
gonna.
get you another drink, sir?
For right now, I'm okay.
Okay. Would you like a water?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Of course. And I'll get you guys some ketchup, okay?
Have some ranch, please.
Some ranch ketchup?
Because at the end of the day, before all that had even developed, me being out there was what it was in the beginning. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, I was the one getting the shows booked. It was the promoters that was hitting me. I was booking, doing the own videos. I was in the studio making my own songs. So it wasn't necessarily any reason for me to stop doing what I was doing, because even when that whole thing had came around, it was still regular to me. Like, I was still the one booking the shows.
So you was going back to what you knew, basically. Like,
It was everything I had was already doing. So like, once we were still, I guess, quote unquote, people say forming as a group, I was still the one that was getting booked the shows. Like, you know what I mean?
so how far after that split did you decide I'm gonna take a break? I'm gonna fall back.
I would say probably like a year, maybe like half a year after that, and then I took a break for like 2 years. So it was like maybe like a total of 2.5 years. I would say from like the end of 2016 to basically like the beginning of this year.
There you go, my dear.
And
Thank you.
with, I mean, don't get into anything you don't want to get into, but during this length of that break, what was happening? What were you getting into? What was going on?
Man, I was just really just on my grind at the shop. Like, honestly, like nothing changed, man. I've been working at the same shop for the last 6-7 years. You know what I'm saying? Just taking care of business with the kids. Had another child back last August. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Been with my girl now too for the past 1.5 years, 2 years almost. That's really much it, man. Man.
So coming back to music, is your approach different? Are your priorities different? Or is it just like I miss that feeling. I want to jump back in there. I want to jump back in.
My priorities are different, but more so different where they're under control different. Like, God's never gonna give you more than what you can handle. So I just feel like I'm able to basically balance it better, if that makes any sense. And now I'm able to just, I don't want to say fully do everything that I can when I can, but it's take care of the fam, do music when I got time, take care of the fam, do music when I got time. But at the same time, those times when I do have time, I want to give it 100% and make sure that people know that, like, I'm saying, I'm really back trying to get it. I mean,
so when you were gone, were you noticing a shift in like what was happening on the coast? Because it seemed like maybe during that break it died down a little bit, and then like towards the end of your break, shit started really to spark back to life. Like,
yeah.
But I get mixed reviews a lot of the time. I feel like, I feel like some people tell me it's a lot going on the coast, but none of it is dope. And some people tell me, I just like how active the coast is, and maybe it's a new generation that I don't understand, but I still just like seeing how active the coast is. Where do you fall on that scale?
I feel like as far as the coast, as of right now, or actually, excuse me, let me backtrack. Once I took a break, it felt like the music scene kind of almost died around here. And towards the end of the short period I was gone, at the very end, it seemed like things started to pick back up, which was dope to see, you know what I mean? Because it almost felt like I took my break at the right time. That's almost how it felt, you know what I mean? But no, man. Like I was talking to my boy, like I feel like right now, there's some good energy out there, you know what I'm saying? I feel like there's something the word mentioning right now, you know what I'm saying? My thing is I feel like I want to fall in that line though. So when they mention somebody, I want to make sure that if they mention 5 to 10 people, that my name is in there somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, and then if not, I'm gonna just keep grinding until basically it gets there.
So that being said, what are you doing to make sure that you are mentioned? Like, what's the plan?
Last October on my birthday, beginning of November, I dropped my last single, my most recent single, So High. Shot a dope little video. Got it, all major platforms, music platforms, and had it sponsored. I saw this right now, so I'm sponsored on Instagram. So I just feel like now that I've been doing this for this period of time, I kind of almost know like what to do and what's effective. So I've been putting a little bit more money into it, a little bit more energy, and just being more involved again. You know what I'm saying? And that's just, I feel like that's what it's gonna take slowly by slowly. But I'm not saying I'm where I want it to be right now, but I'm getting there and working towards it.
So how did you become familiar with, just speaking of new things coming, how did you get familiar with very talented singer Lolita? Because I don't hear a lot of people using her voice, and I'm always like, when I hear other singers, I'm like, how come you didn't go get her? Because she got crazy vocals.
Yeah, she's
so how
dope.
did you guys link?
Man, I told Lil Bones, shout out Lil Bones, when I would go to the studio, I said, listen, Bones, I want to come back, but if I come back, I gotta come back as a heavy hitter. I can't come back half-assed, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I need a single and I need something hot. That's when we came up with So High. And I was like, I was telling Bones, I was like, that's how I wanted to come back, you know what I'm saying? I was like, but now we need something else, like.
Who shot that video, So High? That's it's really dope.
Thank you. It's actually my dude out in Moreno Valley, Mike and Ike Studios. Shout out to him, my dude Mike, super talented.
Make sure you go check it out. What's your YouTube?
My YouTube?
Yeah.
Young Deem.
So Young Team, make sure you go subscribe to Young Deem's YouTube and check out the So High videos. Super dope. I'm excited for this new one. What's the one with Lolita called?
The one with Lolita called is In the moment.
In the moment, because the trailer is looking crazy.
Yeah.
Go visit his Instagram and look at that trailer.
Yeah.
Wow. The same person shot that?
Yeah. So I was telling Bones, I was like, man, you know, and we had a couple records that were solid records, but I was telling Bones, I don't feel like those records are the next one to be released. I was like, I need a singer. And basically he was like, I got somebody for you. And it was just, came in the studio, we found a beat, she wrote the hook, I dropped the verses all in one night, and we just, it was kind of something we all felt.
So good, guys?
Yeah, thank you.
She works really fast too, that's the thing. Like,
yeah, she's dope. She's dope for sure.
Like when I seen that, I was like, okay, my nigga, he's over here really plotting over here. He's over here really plotting.
Yeah, and I kept bugging her. I was like, man, we need to shoot this video. We need to shoot this video. And she kept telling me how busy she was. And then one day she was just like, you know what? My plans got canceled this weekend. Let's shoot that video. And
where's the scene with all the umbrellas? That's really dope.
You know what? People have been asking me that question, man. And
okay, I'm not mad at it. Keep it tight to the chest.
It's somewhere in the LA area, man. That's I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, I got it. I'm with it. So, is In the Moment coming with a project? Is this just the single you're gonna push for now, just to get your toes wet, or is there a whole project following it?
What's crazy is me and her, we actually got 2 other records, and I don't really know as far as you know, what she's doing, how many she wants to do, but I hope we can do as many as we can, you know what I'm saying? But right now, yeah, we definitely do got 2 other records that we want to push out, so, you know, who knows, maybe we'll turn it into something, like an EP maybe or something. Yeah, for sure.
So at this point too, like, I mean, like it or not, you're one of the OGs in the game. So, are there any like OG moves you plan on making, like label-wise? Like, you want to start a label, or you gonna start promoting other artists, maybe a merchandise line, or just, you know, like how when niggas level up as an OG, like what's your plans?
Man, first of all, I appreciate that. I definitely want to do something, man. Like, you know, I'm definitely somebody who's all for giving back or helping out or anything like that, man. I would love to promote an artist, get an artist to, you know what I'm saying, like get something going. Definitely Lo would be one of them, man. If I could do anything for her to help her get her going, I would, you know, extend the hand. But I don't know, man, just kind of brainstorm, man. I want to come with some new strategy, you know what I'm saying, some that I haven't really done before, and I just want to kind of just bring something fresh to the table, you know what I'm saying. Like, I've always been able to kind of support this whole thing, what I've been doing, but I definitely want to do something that's, you know, effective now, you know what I'm saying. So as far as making some OG moves, man, I'm kind of just more of like the knowledge that I got right now, you know what I'm saying. That's just how I'm just moving right now, just off this knowledge, man. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Well, one question I like to ask every artist is, so like, let's say everything goes the way you want it to go, everything goes according to plan, like maybe 5-10 years down the road. What does that vision of success look like to young Deem? Like, how would you describe that?
Man, my mom in a house somewhere, you know what I'm saying, closer to my fam. Still got a lot of fam out in Pittsburgh, damn near all of them, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just better living, man, good health, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to do